Microsoft started including the Unix Linux Monitoring and Operations Manager 2007 R2. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to deploy agents to Linux Unix computers. So through a series of screen captures, I'm going to walk you through the entire process of installing the Microsoft Monitoring Agent on Linux Unix computers. What do you want to do first? Well, naturally, the first thing that you would probably want to do is run a discovery. But for Unix Linux agents, there are several prerequisites that have to be in place before you can even begin the discovery. So as a high-level overview, there are 5 processes that have to take place. First of all, you have to import the management packs for Unix Linux monitoring, create a resource pool for monitoring your Linux Unix servers, configure your cross-platform certificates, create and configure your run as accounts, and discover and deploy your agents. When you install Operations Manager 2016, the core Unix Linux libraries are imported, but not the detailed management packs that are used for each Unix Linux operating system version that you're going to monitor. Those management packs are on the installation media in the management pack directory. So there are over 40 different management packs that you can actually choose from to import into Operations Manager. You just import the specific one for the specific operating system that you plan to monitor. The first step that you'll do in your process, your prerequisites, configuring the prerequisites for Unix Linux monitoring, is to create a resource pool. Now, this resource pool is going to be used and associated with the management servers that are dedicated to monitoring your Linux and Unix systems. So in the Operations Manager console, under the Administration Works pane, you would go down to Resource Pools and then select in the Task menu, Create Resource Pool. On the General Property page, you would just enter a name and a description for your resource pool and click Next. The next screen allows you to choose the members of your resource pool. So you would click Add, and that brings up the select management server or gateway server for the resource pool. So you would select the search, and all available management servers and gateway servers will present themselves. Click Add, highlight the management server that you wish to add or management servers that you wish to add to the resource pool, and click Add. Once you click OK, you'll have the option to hit the Create button to create this management pool. Once you create the resource pool, I said management pool, once you create the resource pool, you'll get the resource pool wizard completed successfully. Your next step would be configuring your cross-platform certificates. This entire process is documented at http://library/library/english/hh287152.aspx. Operations Manager uses certificates to authenticate access to the computers that it's managing. So whenever the Discovery Wizard deploys an agent, it retrieves the certificate from that agent, signs the certificate, deploys the certificate back to the agent, and then restarts the agent. The third step in the process is creating and configuring your run as accounts. So if we go back to the Operations console, click Administration Workspace, Linux, Unix Accounts, and then create a Run As account. That's going to bring up the Create Run As Account wizard, and you're going to select Monitoring Account. That's a monitoring account that's used for health and performance monitoring. So select that, click Next, which brings up the general properties where you can give a name and description for your account. Click Next. Under the account credentials, these are the credentials that will be used for your health and performance monitoring on your Unix Linux computers. I'm using an elevated account, the root account, and I'll put the root name and password for the root account and click Next. Now, as far as distribution, you should select more secure. That way you can actually target either the management servers or the resource pool to use this elevated account. So we'll choose more secure and then click create. Once the account is created, you would go back into the properties of the Run As account and then add either the resource pool or the management server because we selected more secure. So this is the account that will be used for health and performance monitoring. So click add, and you have the option to search by computer name, which is the default, show management servers. I'm going to select search by resource pool name, click search. That brings up my resource pools. I'll click the Unix Linux monitoring resource pool that I just created, click add, and then I'll click save. When I click save, I should get a screen that says Unix Linux Run As account has been successfully saved. Once I've created the Run As account, I need to associate the Run As account with 3 Unix Linux Run As profiles. The Run As profiles are located in the administration console under Run As configuration and then click profiles. You have your Unix Linux privilege account, the Unix Linux agent maintenance account, and the Unix Linux action account. The agent maintenance account is used for agent updates, uninstall, anything that requires SSH. This will always be associated with a privileged account that has access via SSH and was created using the Run As account in the wizard that I just did previously. The privileged account profile will always be associated with the Run As account like the one that we just created that's privileged like the root or similar. Or you can have an unprivileged account. That's the one for that's going to be configured to do like elevation via sudo. The action account will do your basic monitoring workflows. This will generally be associated with the Run As account like the one that we just created. To add the Run As account to the Run As profile, you would select whichever of the 3 Run As profiles, go into the properties. Under the introduction page, just click Next. Under the general properties, you'll select Add a Run As account. And, well, you can actually skip the general properties and just click onto the Run As account. Click Add, select the Run As account that we just created. I called it the Linux monitoring account. And click OK. Once you click Save, you are ready to do the discovery. Now that you've configured your prerequisites, you've imported your management packs, you've created your resource pool, configured your cross-platform certificates, created your Run As account and associated the Run As account with the Run As profile, now you're ready to discover your Unix Linux systems. So if you click in the administration workspace and then click Discovery Wizard, that will bring up the Computer and Device Management Wizard. And our middle option is Unix Linux computers. So this will enable us to discover any Unix Linux computers in our environment. Click Next. Under the discovery criteria, this is where you'll select the resource pool that's going to be associated with monitoring this Linux Unix system. And if you click the drop down arrow, we have the Unix Linux monitoring resource pool that I created in an earlier step. And next you would select the Add button. When you click Add, that allows you to add what your search criteria is going to be. So under your discovery criteria, you have several options here. One of the first things you want to do is hit Set Credentials. If you don't want to provide a root account here and you want to use an SSH key authentication, you can do that. But when I click Set Credentials, these are the credentials that will be used to discover and run commands on the computers within my discovery scope. So if I click Set Credentials, or you can say Use a Run As credential, you can configure the credentials for your discovery. And you can choose the SSH key, or you can use a username and password. If you choose to use the username and password, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to use the root account put in the password, you have the option for this account has privileged access or this account does not have privileged access. Now, a privileged account is a user account that has root level access. This includes access to the security logs and read, write, and execute permissions for the different directories. An unprivileged account is just a normal user account that doesn't have root level access or any special permissions. Well, since I'm using the root account, I'm going to say this account has privileged access and click OK. And next, I will define what my discovery scope is going to be. Now, I can put in the specific FQDN of the Unix Linux system that I'm looking for, or I could put in a range of IP addresses or even a single IP address if I know the IP address of that Linux Unix server, along with the SSH port, which is port 22. Now, if you need to define additional criteria, like maybe have a line that has an FQDN, another line that has a specific IP address, and then another line that has a range of IP addresses, just click Add Row. And under the discovery type, how do you want to discover the computers within that specific discovery scope? And I would just select All Computers. Now, you do have another option to select an individual computer, but I'm going to select All Computers in the scope and then select Save. Once I select Save, this will pull up my discovery criteria page again, and you'll see that that's the name of the computer that I want to discover. You'll also see any range of IPs or an individual IP address, the default credentials along with the SSH port. And here is my resource pool that I selected. So after everything is configured and you're happy with it, you can just click the Discover button. And to the left, you'll get the screen of, and this is just a split screen, you'll get a screen that lists all of the computers that were discovered. And at the bottom of that particular screen, you would just click Deploy Agent or Install Agent. And once the agent is installed on that particular system, you should get a success under the status. If you do not get a success, then you'll need to go back, make sure your prerequisites have been configured properly, make sure that you put in the correct username and password, and any other troubleshooting. Make sure your ports are open on your discovered computers. Finally, go to the monitoring pane and select the Unix Linux computer view, and you should notice that your system or systems are present, and there should be a green healthy check mark next to them. Again, if there's not a green healthy check mark or if your systems are not present, then go back through the troubleshooting steps. This concludes our video on deploying agents to Unix Linux computers. Our next video, we will look at how to discover network devices and deploy agents to network devices.